As you might have heard, Chicago is home to something called Homan Square, a facility, that's right, do that. This is a facility that is disappearing our people unconstitutionally, where they are being shackled, they are being beaten, and they are not being given their access to a lawyer. It's not right, right? We want that thing investigated, we want that thing shut down, but we also understand that this isn't actually that much of a surprise. If you've been listening to what Black youth have been telling us about their experiences with the CPD, we already knew about this, right? There are folks like Miriam who have been telling us about these rumors for a really long time about this facility. We know that cops pick up young Black people and drop them into rival gang territories, hoping that they'll get killed. This happens all the time. That in fact, this spectacle of Homan Square is really just sort of hiding the mundane terror that people experience every single day in this city. And so we have to understand this fight as in that larger context of police violence. That it surrounds us, it becomes the new normal for us to not even notice the abuse that Black bodies experience every single day. We also have to understand it's not new, that this goes way, way, way back. I just found out the Chicago police were founded in 1835, before slavery ended. And so we know that the police come out of the slave patrols. That is what this institution comes out of. So we have to understand that, and that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Thank you everyone for coming out here in this cold weather downtown tonight. But this is an inspiration. This shows that people power can make a difference. You know, whether it's warm, whether it's cold, if there's an injustice being perpetrated continuously, then it's on us to make the difference. It's on us to stand up, to come out and to say, no more, no more. I said a couple of months ago before the primary was over with, Mr. Mayor, you cannot take the people for granted. You're going to have to deal with issues that you really don't want to deal with, such as reparations, such as police torture, such as the racism that exists here in the city of Chicago, which is alive and well. And again, we're saying, Mr. Mayor, primaries are over with. We have spoken. You did not get 51%. You're in a runoff now. You're going to have to deal with us. You're going to have to deal with this. You're going to have to deal with all of us.
That's right.
We make the difference now. No longer are we silent anymore. Reparations will come to Chicago. Reparations will set a precedence throughout the United States for other civil rights leaders to come to Chicago and say, how did you do it? We did it with people power. That's how we did it. So please, whatever you do, don't stop. Our movement has become not only from the past to the present, but to the future. All the youngsters that are here today, you are tomorrow. And because of you, we have the inspiration to tell you what it is that needs to be did here in the city of Chicago. Mr. Mayor, if you are serious about wanting to be the caretaker for another term, then you're going to have to come to grips with reparations. No longer can you sit on the sideline and say, well, the atrocities was wrong and I'm sorry, but it didn't happen on my watch. A lot of things didn't happen on your watch, but you're taking credit now for turning it around. So if you're taking credit for that, then you must take credit for the atrocities that existed before you came into office. And all we're asking you to do is what is right.
That's right.
Reparations, getting a police department which is sensitive to the needs of the communities is something that is not far-fetched. It's something that can be happening now. So we're saying, Mr. Mayor, if you think that you can still ease on in there for a second term, I think you've already had a wake-up call. Already. You did not win by 51%. You didn't even win by 50%. You won by 49%. Now, that's a huge difference, especially when you got the president and other distinguished people coming in voting for you, but yet you still did not galvanize the majority. Why? Because people are waking up.
That's right. Woo!
The people are tired of having to endure the nonsense that they're having to endure, and then you throw your hands up. Oh, well, we're sorry, but, ain't no buts. You know, you want to be the caretaker, then do the right thing. Reparations is what we need today. Reparations should have been in place back in the Daley regime, but we know the father's like the son. So we got nothing, but we're saying now, the same way that you can find money for education for our children, which is beautiful, fantastic. Take that red light camera money that you're getting now and fund us on reparations. You make enough money for red light cameras in 1 week to give us what we need. If you continue to give Jon Burge his pension,
that's right,
even though he's been convicted and sent to the penitentiary, then surely we who have been tortured, you can give us a few crumbs. We're not asking you for 10 million apiece, even though we deserve even more than that. As individuals, the hell that we went through, you know, being locked up for over 24 and a half years like I wasn't a piece of cake. Me being in TAM Supermax for over 9 years before I got my freedom was not a piece of cake. People in TAM Supermax was killing themselves, was trying to commit suicide because they could not stand being isolated the way that they were. How I survived, I can only say that it was through the grace of God and through the spirit of my mother and my grandmother.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And because of them, and because of all of you, I'll continue to speak out. I'll continue to be a survivor. I'll continue to be a staunch supporter of anyone who's against injustice. Because Dr. King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. We here make the difference. Look at all these beautiful people out here in this cold weather tonight. You could have been home, but instead you're lending your physical support to say no more. And for me, yeah, I'm missing work, but missing work is nothing in compared to being here. Here is where I'm supposed to be. Here is where I am. And please, to all of you, tell your friends and your supporters, please, let's continue. Every time we have a rally somewhere, let's have even more people, more people, more people. The more people we have before April, the mayor will get the word. And that's what we want the mayor to get. That's why we're here across the street from his office, from his headquarters, from his sanctuary. We're here to say, Mr. Mayor, we do make a difference.
We do.
And we've shown you in the primaries, and we'll show you at election time. Unless you speak up now and let us know exactly where you're coming from concerning reparations and the injustices that have existed in Chicago, unless you speak out forcefully, unless you come up with a viable plan in order to enact the resolution that's been up here for reparations, then Mr. Mayor, you can have a seat. You'll be with the president. The president got a couple more years that he's in retirement. Mr. Mayor, you used to work for the president. You can be in retirement now. It's on you. You know, either you stand up with us, or we'll go to the next candidate and say, are you for us on reparations? What will you do? We already got the majority of the aldermen who have signed on for reparations. Mr. Mayor, why aren't you signing on? Why aren't you saying, yes, let's make it happen. Let's make it happen this year, not next year or sometime in the future. Because as we know, the future is not promised to anyone. So on that note, I would say, please, all you beautiful people, never stop loving me. Never stop loving those who are still in prison, who haven't had a voice to speak. I speak for them. Anytime I'm before you, I'm speaking for them. It's never about Darrell Cannon. It's about all of us. And until all of us can be satisfied and content that justice has finally prevailed, then we will be here whether it's cold or hot. Thank you.
Yeah.